Welcome back. We're getting you ready for the 2024 election season to make sure every vote is counted, including yours. And today we're talking with Cliff Albright. He's the co-founder and executive director of Black Voters Matter. Cliff, before that break, I asked you a few questions about mobilizing. I want to talk a little bit more about what Black Voters Matter is doing, because you are doing the work. This is more than talk. In May, you kicked off the We Won't Black Down campaign, targeting several swing states like Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, and some deeply red states like Florida and Alabama. This is a bus tour, right? So tell us a little bit about the goal of this bus tour.
Yeah, well, first of all, I hope your viewers understand and get a chance to see. We travel around what we call the blackest bus in America. And we say that not just because the bus is black, but because the images that it has, the spirits that it has on it, the images of people with their fists in the air, words like love and power and black, all of that is the essence of everything that we do. It's the blackest bus in America. And it means so much when we bring it to states, and particularly to communities in those states that are often ignored, right? That don't get to have a big old traveling bus coming by, giving out swag, giving out Black Voters Matter shirts, giving out materials, and giving out information, right? Because it's not just about the stuff that we give out, but it's about the information, it's about the knowledge, it's about the power that it represents. And so, yes, we're going to be going to around 14 states over the next few months between now and this November. That's not even counting 2024, because as we say, the best way to get ready for 2024 is to do the work even in the odd number years like 2023, right? If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. And so we're on the road going to these communities, spreading the word, giving information, giving stuff, bringing some, as we always say, spreading love and building power. Excuse me. And that's a big part of what it takes to mobilize communities, right? It's not just about good information. It's about how do you make people feel? How do you make folks feel like they're seen and they matter? There's a lot of people that care about black votes, but they don't give a darn about black voters, right? We care about our people and about our communities. That's why we do this work just as hard in 2023 as we'll be doing it in 2024.
That is true organizing right there. I think about, the Black Panthers. People often imagine their photos with fists up and afros, but they were feeding people breakfast. Mm-hmm. They were providing after school programs. It's that holistic approach. You also are not just focusing on voting rights. As you said, you're looking at healthcare, physical health, mental health. Sure. Tell us about some of those other interventions in the community and why you think they actually move the needle.
Yeah, great question. Yeah, it's not just about voting, because at the end of the day, you can't knock on somebody's door in October asking them to come out and vote to save the country or to save democracy. But they look at you and they say, well, you weren't around back in April when our community needed you. You weren't around when there was that natural disaster, that flood, and we all needed help and nobody was there for us. You weren't around where there was that police shooting. You weren't around when they were cutting our Medicaid or refusing to expand Medicaid, and we needed health care. They were closing our rural hospitals. They were taking away our ambulances. And where were you all then? You didn't knock on my door then, but now you want to knock on my door and talk about voting. And so we believe firmly that in order for Black voters to matter, our issues have got to matter all throughout the year. We call it the 365 work, Black Voters Matter 365. The other thing that we know is that in order for that to happen, that we have got to invest in the local groups that are doing the work every day. They are the ones closest to the problem. They are the ones closest to the solutions. The problem is that they often are doing so severely under-resourced. We always say there's no such thing as a red state. People write off states like Mississippi and Alabama, Louisiana. There's no such thing as a red state. There are only states that have been under-resourced, that have been ignored and neglected. And so a big part of what we do is that we get resources to those organizations. Last year alone, we gave out $9.7 million in grants to local groups. That's neighborhood associations, that's churches, sometimes Divine Nine. It might be an NAACP chapter. Any kind of local organization that loves Black folks and is doing the work of building power, we find a way to get them some support. because that's how that work gets sustained. It's not just about what we do as Black Voters Matter. It's not just about our bus tours. It's not just about what we do on social media or on network shows like news shows and talk shows like this. It's about how are we getting support to those local organizations that are doing the work, that are knocking on the doors. And so, yeah, that means funding resources. It means getting them tools to things like texting technology so that they can more effectively reach out to the folks that they meet in their neighborhoods. And as we've said, it means getting them swag so that, sometimes people just want to have some stuff, right? It means a lot to some of our partner organizations who don't have shirts when they can just look like they're a crew, because everybody treats people different when they look like a crew, right?
So yeah, that's power. You're all together. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry to interrupt. I was just going to say, that's the image when I see a Black Voters Matter shirt. I'm like, okay, that's them, right? Cliff, this has been such a great conversation. I wish that we had even more time. We have to go to break now, but I want to thank you for all the work that you've been doing with Black Voters Matter. Make sure, everybody, that you check out Black Voters Matter and you actually support them, because, again, they are doing the work in our communities. This is what we need to know for election 2024. Our votes do matter.